Hello, my name is Jasmine, where I am trying to get my house in order and my life together. I'm trying to declutter my house. So I plan to do this for actually the end of last year, and it is already June, so I've skipped right on past spring cleaning, and here I am. There are a couple of things that I try to do every day anyway. Laundry, debatable. I'm still working on a system. And then dishes, because, they happen all the time. Okay, so the thing about this declutter is there are quite a few things that I know I can get rid of. There are items of clothing that it's been a whole year or two that I have not touched at all. We moved into this house maybe, I guess, a year and a half ago, and there are things that I set them in the closet and have not touched them since we moved in, so they can go. So I think I'm going to start now with kind of like a surface level declutter, almost like I'm going to go through and kind of keep the things that I know that I'm keeping, and maybe anything that's a maybe or a no, I think I might put it to the side. So I'm starting here because these clothes are kind of like the chair. This pile is stuff that I've worn before, or it might be new, or it might be washed but not hung up. So I felt like this would be an easy win because these are in regular rotation. So if I shouldn't really have to think hard about if I'm going to keep these or not, because I probably will. So I'm just kind of separating them to where they'll go, either in the closet or folded. There are a couple things in here that are winter clothes, since we're kind of coming out of winter, that I really don't want to put away yet. So they almost kind of don't have a home. And so I'm taking stuff off these hooks that I have here because same situation. I wear them. Taking things out of these cubbies because they are mostly winter things. And like I said before, since we're coming out of winter, they don't need to go there anymore. That cubby is like prime real estate. So at this point, it doesn't make sense to have these things here, to be honest, ever really, because living in a warmer climate, I typically don't even grab for these items that often because I just don't need them. So there's no point in something that I don't use often to be in a ideal spot. Like things that I use often should go in prime real estate. So I'm taking stuff out of that cubby, out of the other cubby. I'm trying to straighten things up to make it a little easier to get in and out of the closet. Ideally, you'd want to take all of your things out of the closet, but I was trying to make this a quick declutter. It wasn't as quick as I wanted it to be, but it was fairly quick-ish. I will say that because I have decluttered before, I don't know. I guess I have a little practice, but also my closet isn't stuffed at this point. So there have been times in the past to where like my closet was so stuffed, I had to take everything out because I couldn't see what was in there. But because day to day, I can kind of get an idea of what's in my closet. I know if there are certain things that I'm constantly not wearing. Like if I'm thumbing past a shirt or thumbing past a dress every time, like even if it fits, like, oh, I want to wear something red and that thing is red and I still don't want to wear it, I probably need to let it go. So yeah, at this point I'm taking things out. There are quite a few things to wear. I like that item, but I know I can't really wear it, or it might be too short. So I know if I do end up losing weight, I probably still can't wear the item. And I'm just taking things out and kind of moving them around. So I know some people like do the color sorting of their wardrobe. I organize my closet by what it is, meaning like I like to have all my dresses together, all my skirts together, all my like blazers and jackets together, all my long sleeve shirts together. So that's kind of how I look, because when I'm getting dressed, it's kind of where I start. Oh, I think I'm going to wear a skirt today. So then I look and see what skirts I have and kind of go from there. But that's just been the easiest way for me to know what's in my closet. Have I tried the color thing before? Maybe a long time ago, but this just works for me. So it might not be pretty, but it works. And at this point, I'm just putting the stuff that I'm not wearing on the side. Well, I have like a pile. One thing to kind of think of before you start decluttering is where you want things to go. They're kind of two schools of thoughts. You could just say, I'm going to put this in the donate pile and I'll deal with it later. Or as you go, you could decide where you want it to go at the time. Meaning, I have my things separated into things that are going to Goodwill, things that I might want to sell, things that I might want to take to a nicer place like Just for Success. And then I also like to have a pile of almost like trash, meaning they're not going to take this at a donation spot, but there are places that you can recycle fabric. So I have a separate pile for that. At some point, I think I will probably do a video on my options for getting rid of things, because I know that's kind of hard. It's like you don't want to get rid of your stuff and then, I don't know. You kind of want to be responsible for it. My goal here is, since it's been basically the end of winter. Well, no, winter's over. At this point, there are certain things that I'm never gonna pull for. Like, when it's kind of still spring and you might still put on a pair of sweatpants or something like that. And it's hot. I'm probably never pulling out a pair of sweatpants, or I'm never pulling out sweatshirts. So I'm kind of just putting those things together, putting them to the side, putting them with sweaters and other things that I'm never going to reach for now that it's hot, like hot, like 90 degrees hot. So then at this point, this is where I'm kind of like, all right, I'm over it. I'm a little bit overwhelmed, but let me keep going. I'm going through things that are a little bit more difficult. I don't know about you, but when there are things that you don't really use all the time, I don't know. It's hard to decide, like, do I keep this or not? Because it's like when you need it, but when you don't, you really could care less about the item. So I don't know. I try to keep that in mind as I'm going. Certain things, I don't know, you feel like you may have it for a purpose, like, oh, I might need that. But if it's been several years and you haven't needed it, I don't know, you might not actually need it. You might have thought it was useful. It's not. And then a lot of things I've kind of gone through and I know what I'm keeping. So at this point, I'm just separating, hanging up things that need to be hung up and putting them kind of in a stack, or putting things that need to be folded off to the side. There's also some other things that I want to do with my dresser, meaning rearrange my drawers. I want to consolidate from the tall dresser I have to putting everything in the short dresser. So I just need to rearrange based on what's in the dresser, and then incorporating some of the things that I'm taking out of the cubbies. So overall, this is a good time, since you have things out, to rearrange, if you need to, where your things are. Like if you're going through your regular use items and they're hard to put away, or they're harder for you to reach for, move them to a place that's easier to reach for. If there's like a drawer of things, I don't know, your workout gear, and you're not working out, which is what I was doing, I don't need those to be in a place that's easily accessible, because I'm not currently working out like that. Now, once I get in a good habit, then I can move those clothes to a prime location. But until then, they don't really deserve to be there. So And I mean, that's if your space is limited. I'm not saying my space is limited per se, but I mean, kind of like I don't have all the drawers. So yeah, this is a good time to kind of reassess and see like where your things are. And if there are things that take up more space, maybe you need to move them to a larger area. Just some things to think about. I'm pulling these things out of the suitcase. Let me tell you, these are not things that I packed to go somewhere. I know it's a little shameful, but I had people come visit. I think it was my in-laws maybe, and I had clothes out, probably on top of the dresser, the same thing. And what I ended up doing was taking the clothes and putting them in my suitcase, and also putting them in this bag to just get them out of the way, because my luggage sits empty. So yeah, that's not a long time unpack. That is just random clothes. So yeah, it is what it is. If you're curious about, oh, why do you have all these boxes with these clothes? So I did KonMari several years ago, and best thing ever, life-changing, truly was. And so I still kind of work with the system of boxes. So it kind of helps to separate the drawers with things that you already have. I don't know. It's like if you can make things fit in a space. It's a weird thing. If you've never tried it, like, give it a try. Like, get an open box or maybe use the lid, because then you can also double up. And let's say you have a row of, I don't know, t-shirts. You can stick like a lid on top of it and maybe be able to fit extra shirts. Because another part of the KonMari is how you fold the clothes. And if you're not familiar with KonMari, I'll probably talk about it more in depth, because like I said, it was really good. But the way you fold your clothes is crucial because it allows you to see everything in your drawer. And you don't have to take things really out of your drawer to see it. Like if you stack up your shirts, like you don't need to stack up your shirts. Or even like rolling your shirts. Sometimes you can't see them. So it's like a specific method of like folding your clothes so you can see what the item is just by opening your drawer. It's great. Putting things away almost seems like light at the end of the tunnel. Like I said before, I didn't do everything here, but there was a lot done. And so putting away like winter clothes, they're not going to stay where I put them now, but I'm putting them somewhere now. And as I go through and continue everything, then I'll have to reassess where I want things to go. Because for a while I'd always lived with everything together, not separating by seasons. And that came from KonMari also. But I feel like the way it gets hot here and cold here, I don't know, there are things that I do wear out of season, especially when you think about layering pieces. But I really don't need a sweater in July in Texas. So I'm reevaluating how I want to kind of maybe switch out my clothes. I had more sections of things I was going to donate. I think that I decided like, okay, I'm just going to put things together and I'll look at it later for some piles, just because at the moment it was taking too much decision making to try to figure out what I was keeping. This is where I started. And then here's where I finished for the day. So we didn't get everything. I still have some boxes in there I'll use later. There's still some things to do, but I can get my hands easily through everything. It's sorted out. And then also I have one bag, the green bag, and then there's another bag at the top of clothes that I'll go through. And that will be next time, part 2.